Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. Today's video is a campaign update for my Sunday campaign. The party where we last left off had angered Poseidon and had a few mythical misadventures and have landed on an island that after a massive storm and have encountered a few weird things and encountered a what was it? They encountered a very unique treant, and it ended up barfing on their shelter, which was hilarious. They follow it. It takes them to an area where there's a bunch of old stone buildings, completely covered in vines. And there's about a dozen to 24 hobbits living in this village. And the party interacts with them at the beginning of this adventure, really starts talking with them and such. And they find out that the hobbits would allow them to bring people if they handled the threats that were in the two threats that were in the next section of buildings over. This small village was spread over a road, and it was built in small sections, so they would be blocks to us if they were all close together. So instead you got 3 or 4 houses here, then you got a large space, 3 or 4 houses there, another large distance, 3 or 4 houses there. So the party was exploring. They found a badger, which one of the hobbits warned them about, and a troll. So they start combat with the troll because it was in a different location. They wake the troll up with the first round of combat and deal a decent amount of damage to it. It blows a whistle. Party didn't think too much of it and continued to fight and pretty much decimate the troll. Within 2 turns, the troll is been defeated. But at this time, the badger has come. And it is angry and it is charging. They hit the badger. So its anger originally was territory anger. Now its anger is the fact that it took damage. So now they find out the fact that it has elemental type to it as it turns into fire and attacks the party. And the party struggles to fight this thing for about 2 to 3 turns. But they do manage to kill this thing. And this thing turned out to be a little bit tougher than the troll, mostly because the party was already split up, half watching for this thing and the other half fighting the trolls. After that, the party looks around and sees more buildings further up, closer to an old cave. I think they asked the townsfolk what the cave used to be, and they're like, my old great-great-grandpappy told me that they used to mine stuff out of that cave, like iron. And so the party's going to investigate that. When they start looking around, they find rust monsters, like a group of them, in a building. So they back out, try to strategize what they want to do. And they see, because they're watching the area, they see rust monsters leave the building, go into the cave. And every once in a while, some of them come out of the cave and go to the building. So the party's contemplating locking them all in the cave, so they hire the townsfolk. I believe they paid them in booze to go build pretty much a wall or a cage in front of the cave, because they asked what the hobbits were good at, and I was like, they're good at woodworking. Because why wouldn't they be? They sit around fishing, partying on this god's island, and just relaxing. They usually don't explore most of the island the way the party's doing. Well, they start getting busy building the fence, and then a creature about 7 feet long, but stands about 4 feet high, has a triple maw lined with teeth, has 3 red eyes, appears out of nothing, grabs a hobbit, and disappears. One or two party members sees this, and they start figuring out what it is and how they can fight it. And the hobbits pretty much finish building the fence, I believe, and 6 of these things appear and attack the hobbits. And one of them attacked a goblin in the party because it thought it was a hobbit. And if I remember correctly, the party manages to kill one of these. And now they're trying to figure out what they want to do next. And that's where that campaign ended that day. But we killed a lot of time in combat, so it's been very entertaining. The party wants to use the Rust Monster's feelers, spit, and blood to dissolve armor and other metallic things. So they're trying to isolate the Rust Monsters to do that. And then they want to try to milk the, say, saliva out of them as much as they can and store those in flasks. That way they can use them against the metal creatures that come from one of the outer planes that they were fighting, like the Clockwork Horrors. But it also makes a good way to fight a knight in full plate. You hit that full plate with a flask of armor, the whole front of the full plate or back of the full plate disintegrates, and now you have no armor there to hit to prevent you from hitting. So a rogue or a thieves guild or an assassins guild or ninjas would really enjoy using that a lot. And they'd probably pay pretty good for that. So that's going to be something that'll be very entertaining to watch how that's going to influence combat and effects in the world. Especially given the fact that a Rust Monster in 3rd edition is a challenge rating 3. So in Pathfinder, without modifying the creature, it's a challenge rating 2. But it can destroy everything they got, with a few exceptions. Some of the party members have rust gauntlets, which make you immune to that, but not everybody's going to be carrying that. Well, until we game again.